Hi, I'm going live for a fireside chat with the homie, Ed Greer, who fucks with the cover art on my releases, such as 6ix9ine Malik's XX, Hilarity, Technology, and Sex, featuring 6ix9ine Malik's XX, NASA Drip, and Bars at Noon. Freestyle. I'm doing a lot of things to set up stuff to get our conversation together. It's a side fire chat, side fire. I'm gonna write that in the comments. Side fire chat with Ed Greer Destroys. Wow. Huh? You should be joining me any minute. But in the meantime, that'll give me some time to tell you about the comedy album. 6ix9ine Malik's XX, Hilarity, Technology, and Sex, available on AnyiMalik.com. It's a comedy album, some stand-up comedy, some music, as well as a comic strip. I'm joined now with the very hilarious and talented Ed Greer.
Ah, look at that.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
You know, I'm trying to be a pandemic pimp. You know what I mean?
I wish I had more time to set up my background. I have books here. I have nerd stuff that you're more decorated. I just kind of just sat down in front of this lamp. We were supposed to talk earlier, and then I forgot that I had moved things around. And I was like, oh, wait, no, wait. I can't go that way. I forgot, man. I forgot that I remember it, but I didn't even get a chance to shut up and show off some of the things that I have in the background and make me look as studious as I'm sounding for this side fire chat. Because I'm giving off that tone like, yes, good evening. Blessed. We are here today. We are joined now. But like the background is not giving that, especially with the do-rag too. I need books to balance. And this is my regal do-rag too. This is the velvet do-rag.
Oh, word.
Yeah. Not to, slight you because you're not having the but you can still rock a do-rag though. That make it even more of a bold statement when you ain't got no hair and rock a do-rag. That's like letting you know that. Well, hey man, thank you for joining me.
Well, like I said, when you hit me up about what this was about, I was like, man, I do a lot of this. No, I do a lot of this internet talking stuff, but I don't really talk about some of the projects that I've contributed to artistically. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, you mean they just use you and never double back?
Well, I mean, most of the stuff I do on the internet is my project, so
Oh.
It's,
so
but
you
it's
just
like
use yourself and never double back. Damn.
Yeah, I just be all about talk about me. It ain't about you and what you doing at all. So
well, yeah, this is about you though. This is really about you. I'm using me as a launch pad to talk about you though. So if you didn't hook me up, yeah, I would, But, bruh, yeah, nah. Like the artwork that they looking at right now, you did that. Like we've been collabing, and I've been like expressing what I'm trying to convey artistically or visually, and you delivered it, but you're the one doing that. And so I'm always hyped to even have projects to even bring to your attention, whether or not, I'm not always sure you could even work on them because I know what your workload be like. But sometimes it's even you've expressed how sometimes only I can do this. Who you gonna find to do? Who you gonna find? Was some shit I was describing. Some shit you was like, who you gonna do to get a 70s?
Well, dude, when you be having some of the most specific briefs of anybody that has ever hired me to do art, you'd be like, now look, man, I got robot legs, and I'm traveler, and I'd be like, wow, homie, like this is usually they'd be like, draw a picture of my dog. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, but your stuff is so intricate that like sometimes it'd be like, man, this is a lot of stuff. But at the same time, it'd be like, this is good to be communicating. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, sometimes I think I'm the only person who can communicate it. And sometimes I think what you're trying to communicate through me makes something that neither one of us could make, which is always the dopest.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely, man. Man. Yeah. So it's always hype. Just even, especially on this last one too, because it is a bit more of an ambitious undertaking. You know, especially with all the sci-fi elements. And I was breaking that. Did you get a chance to check out the comic strip?
I did. The first words after being cryogenically or whatever the hell
Yeah.
put in the future is where the hoes at.
Yo, yeah. If you see yeah, it don't. Yeah. So there's more that it expounds, but yeah, that's basically the first strip. But that's that's hype to even be able to even present that and share that with you, because like it wasn't making sense for you what I was trying to put forth with this character in this scenario, and now to see like even a little bit more rounding out of the project. Of course, it's never complete. I mean, shit reaches levels of completion, but to see, to articulate this vision a little bit more, you know what I mean, and still, and still be able to connect with you on the artistic, on the overall cover art, you know what I mean. That's this is exciting for me too, to just tap into my own little latent artistic abilities and limited access to just technology and shit. Not technology itself, but like the programs, the software to fuck with some of my own even sketches. You know what I mean? Like, just I have hella sketches of this concept, but none of it is digital. I couldn't present just pictures of drawings as a thing. It's got to be digital on some respect. But now we in a space where it's like, damn, I could have been did this. And
well, dude,
and
you sent me some kind of damn paper mache collage Basquiat shit. I was like, okay, this dude went and found some object. It was a piece of driftwood on that motherfucker. I was like, damn, look at this shit.
I know. I taped a piece of paper to it. No, I just taped a piece of paper to a piece of paper.
Nah, that ain't how I remember it. It was a piece of driftwood, dog. Nah, it's good because, like I was saying, like if you have an idea about why somebody has an overlay over their eye, and exactly when did we get to talking about how much cybernetics is too much cybernetics, and what kind of future it is, and is the shit, what kind of power is powering up the shit. All that type of stuff is literally kind of, it's the backbone of illustration work, really, is if you kind of understand what somebody's busting to you, it goes through your matrix, so you start flipping it and bouncing it and being like, okay, let me insert this, let me insert that. And then y'all, like I said earlier, y'all can both make something both of y'all couldn't have never made by yourselves. And that's a big deal.
I will say, for example, I'm about to pull it up. The imagery right now. The arm. I had this loose idea. This being with this arm. I knew the arm was robotic and had cyber capabilities. But then I kicked you the idea, and you sent back the imagery, and talking about where the arm is not even held together with parts, and it's like a thing that's keeping things in stasis, like a magnetic field that's got things or faces to each other.
Yeah.
So it don't even have to connect in regular like that. Even is some shit that was tripping me out, and it even helps me inform my writing on how I'm, where I even want to take it when I get to that part of the story. And I'm even able to tell, the dopest part is just being able to tell give all these visuals and tell all these stories through just the stand-up itself. You know what I mean? And
well, dude, but this is one thing I wanted to ask you, maybe some people be asking you, like, do you just tape you just really get into these pockets and get some good audiences to give you some feedback for these albums? I think that's really great, dude. People overlook the actual aspect of getting together a long set, doing a long set in front of enthusiastic people, and having your infrastructure together to capture these recordings so that you can be making content when ain't nobody else making content. I mean, I sound like an infomercial or something, but I'm trying to get like you. How can I be down?
Well, that's another thing too. Is like I've been putting albums out so long. Is that even my means to which I execute that production has evolved to where you know, things is not as uphill as it even seems. You know what I mean? Especially in a quarantine, a lot of this shit is digital. And then our idea of an album, it doesn't all have to take place with the album recording. You know what I
Right.
mean? You know, I learned this with the last album. Actually, I was kind of pressed for time, and I had a commitment to deliver an album that was gonna speak to more hard hitting material, or at least more relevant material in my life that was, you know, weighing heavily on me to make light of. And in the time frame, I could not have delivered the traditional album recording night. So
Right,
I couldn't have got a venue and did the thing and then got people together for an album recording for a long set. And so what I had though, I had a hosting weekend, a set recordings worth of hosting weekends where I did this exact material and some other shit that was just, you know, that was just hitting and worked. And not only that, that material that I did in that time, well, I did 5 different sets over the span of 5 different shows. So that means, you know, it's just a lot of just coverage to play with. And then just the era itself that the recordings took place in, I have been doing a bunch of shows and back and forth between the Bay Area, Sacramento, and Reno, Tahoe, and had hella breakthroughs personally and with my family members that this album, this kind of time period had to be chronicled. Everything about it, from the jokes to even the regions, you know, of Sacramento, Reno, and Tahoe. And so I had to take what I had already had and did not even intend for an album to fashion and present as an album. And I included a musical track that I recorded in the midst of all this when at one of the in the Reno Tahoe shows I was doing at the Improv. It was like a record snowstorm, so I was, you know, stuck in the hotel. Not stuck, but it was really nothing to do. So I'm in the hotel, snowed in, recording music over beats that motherfucker sent me. Homies done sent me to be in the hotel room.
Wow.
You know, and so now this whole project is the whole audio itself offers or tells a story. Just putting all of that together tells a story. And even what gave me the push to even put it all together, to put it out, even told a story, which was the passing, the murder of Nipsey Hussle, which is why in the artwork I included the marathon sweater that I'm always wearing anyways. So it's like, even to be able to bring all of these ideas to you and you know, I couldn't express all of that in the album. You know what I mean? Only in something like a conversation would people even get close to that. You know, on the 1 year anniversary of the album, The Sacramento, it was out. It released it July 5th a year ago, and even the release date was significant. And so I tied all the significance together, and it made a lot of sense to a lot of people. But without that, all you have is the artwork to tie in some of the thematics of these projects that I'll be putting together. And
well, dude, but that was the craziest. Like I told you, man, that was the craziest mission brief I ever got in my whole life. Like, okay, dude, it's a shotgun blast, and then it's women, and then it's snow, but then it's a bus, but then it's Sacramento, like communicate Sacramento some kind of way.
And somebody's unmatching on Tinder.
And then then unmatching on Tinder. I had to research that because, you know, I've been married up since forever. So I was like, what does a Tinder screen even look like? I'm all crotchety. I'm all, you know what I'm saying? Looking at it all close. trying to find out what the damn screen looked like. I was like, wow, dude. But yeah, it was good.
But you did that though.
Tie all that together. It was,
and with the same character too, and with the same character that we've been rocking with. You know, I had a, you know, that was one of the major things when I got with you. I didn't know where that character would go, but I knew that once that was developed, I would always want to use that as a representation of me in artwork, and especially album cover artwork. And so I didn't know I thought I was more confusing on this one. I thought I was more outlandish than the last one on this one. So I know I got out.
Yeah,
No,
what I was gonna say, that was like boot camp. You know what I'm saying?
I got out. Now you told me I got to outdo myself with the next one. I got a 7th project. You know, I know we're not done with this 6th project. Don't tell them. But without giving up too much about what I asked on this next one with this next imagery. Is it more or less complicated?
I mean, no, that the next one is very simple.
It's cake.
You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
okay.
I mean, yeah. If it's the same what we talk about, that's very simple. But it was all I'm saying is the thing on this one with I added a little bit of that kind of like the Scream aspect to the image. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like you are there smoking a blunt in the future, but everything's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like it just feels like that world is a little wrong. And it's got all these little, you know what I'm saying, all those Blade Runner helicopters in the background and stuff. And just like, and it feels almost like the ground is like watery or streamy, like the polar ice caps done melted or something. And you like, it's like everybody just walk outside and trudge through waist high water because that's how it is. Because we ain't got, you know what I'm saying? It's just how we live. Like we
It got a little bit of a Starry Night feel.
Yeah. So
yeah.
that was an interesting aspect to it that I didn't really envision when I first started doing it. But as I started laying it down, I was like, this is looking real. Like, I think that's what the future is going to look like, man. Just soaked. You know what I'm saying? People ain't going to be flexing with cars in the future. It's going to be boats. Nigga, if you ain't got a boat, some kind of personal boat.
Some personal water thing so you could just get your little surf on or just be like.
You're gonna see big ass niggas on 2 Sea-Doos and shit, like one on each foot and shit. You're gonna see a lot of weird stunting in the future when these motherfucking ice caps melt, dog.
Hey man, I talk about that shit in the last album with the walruses. But they ain't trying to hear all that, man. They don't want that. They don't want that. That's sci-fi right now. They ain't you know. We trying to tell them. That's how I say the walrus is gonna get here once the ice caps melt. There's gonna be hella animals that's gonna make this their habitat, and they gonna run through the hommages. They gonna run through the rummages. And I don't know if we're gonna be able to fade a walrus, man. I don't know. I don't know. You can toe to toe with a walrus, and you can't shoot them because they endangered species. So you know that's like the laws ain't on your side. It's anyways. I'm not gonna give up my material because it's not even funny. It's not even jokes.
Dude, but people be really messing with animals, and it's funny. They always say white folks mess with animals. I know a brother who literally, if you gave him truth serum, he would tell you he could beat up a gorilla. And I'm like, there ain't no damn way, dog.
I mean, there's always a way. It's always a way. I'm not gonna lie,
man.
The human form and what the human is capable of is a lot. At the same time, it would be a journey and a struggle. And
a human ninja.
And the key to doing that with animals is not trying to dominate them for sure.
Oh, dude, I mean,
running up on a gorilla, it's not gonna happen like you running up on a gorilla and you fade the gorilla. It's like I was in defense, or like the gorilla was fucking with my baby or something. It's hella factors. It's like it's possible, but you not finna just pull up on a gorilla.
But see, that's what I'm saying though. It's different. You know what I'm saying? People be like, yo, like your mama could take Mike Tyson if she fucking with you. You know what I'm saying? That could happen.
Right.
But you just rolling up, talk about, what's up, what's cracking, let's do this. It's like, no, that's not gonna be. You know what I'm saying? They rest in state is different than your rest in state.
They rest in state, yeah.
It's different than your rest in state.
Yeah. But man, so let me just I want to chronicle some of the work we done. There's this right here, 6ix9ine Anyi Malik XX, which is a couple of works. It's a few works into one project. So that's different in that, this is still ongoing, really. Right. There's still artwork to be released of this project. And so let me take it back. I'm gonna take it back. The previous project, the one the aforementioned, the Sacramento. I'm trying to pull it up. I'm trying to pull it up on my live, so I can reference it. That artwork right there.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the last one. I asked you for some snow-capped mountains. I asked you for Sacramento. I asked for Reno. That's the snow-capped bus shit. 2 women.
Yeah, you had also
2 women, one of them with some vodka.
Yep.
Shotgun, wild turkeys.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the turkeys, dog. I was looking up turkey reference for a minute. I was like, damn, man, turkeys is some complex motherfuckers, man.
Hey, well, have you been to Sacramento?
I have. I didn't say a turkey, but I know they're there.
Bruh, they be out there, man. They're out there, sir. They're out there.
No,
Don't gaslight me about these damn turkeys.
no,
I saw them with my
hey,
own eyes, man. I seen to them.
No,
Yeah,
like I
the
said,
turkeys
I didn't.
and the walruses, man.
Now I went to I don't know, man. I really didn't fuck with Sacramento that much. I've only been there like a couple times, so I wasn't on Turkey Patrol, dog.
So yeah, man. So I had to joke. That was one of the jokes that hit over on the local shit. You know, I was out there, so I acknowledged the wild turkeys. They was already on board. And then in the joke, a woman laughed, sounded like some turkeys. It was nuts. It was nuts. It was crazy. So that was that one. Then there was drowning laughs.
That one was an interesting one because that was a challenge like a mug to like you was trying to communicate that like on that one, dude, this is how you rolled up to me with this idea. You was like, all right. It's like a terrarium or an aquarium, and it's so much laughs coming in that it's like drowning me. I'm like, oh damn, I can't.
The laughs is the water.
Right, and the laughs is the water. And I was like, dude, this dude is on one, man. So I really took it home and I started thinking about it. I was like, this is impossible. And then I started thinking about it. It's obviously you use the onomatopoeia of what laughs are, the different fonts, put it in this thing, make it blue. And then it was really interesting when I come up with the face, because I think that was the first one where I come up with the face, where I had to actually do something with it, making an expression. When I came upon the puffed out cheeks of you holding your breath underwater because the laughs is drowning you.
Right.
That's really when it went more into cartooning than just like an illustration. And I always love that. You got to give stuff personality. You know what I mean?
Damn, I should have pulled up the older drafts of the character because I was gonna get into the character. Damn, the drafts. I got it on this phone. Yeah, it's the big forehead one of them characters.
Oh yeah. Well, no,
or like a big mouth.
Dude, it was. I just went to which features. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a caricaturist. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
well, no, we still. I mean, it was an edit, so like even that's the dope part too. Usually, with the exception of 6ix9ine, Anyi Malik, XX, and the Sacrament, though. There's usually we have a back and forth, a little bit of a back and forth, and so that's all that we kind of had to do that, especially with this one to make sure that it was even going to be conveyed how I wanted it to be conveyed, because it was a certain aesthetic that we was almost there, and now I feel like this was it really, this is the shit to me. Hold on,
well,
pump that up.
The thing was when you looked, the thing that I enjoyed about it is if you look at it, there's this cat, Scott McCloud, he wrote a book called Understanding Comics, and it broke down that the less specific your drawing is, the more likely people are to identify with it, right? They identify with it because it got less features, not more. So the less features you could put on a figure or a face, the more people likely to fuck with it, which is why people started really fucking with that smiley face. You know what I'm saying? There's a smiley face that got no features, no eyebrows, no nothing, just dots for eyes and a mouth. People can see themselves in it the more abstract it is. So with you, I think you was telling me that like it was almost like a Funko Pop sort of situation where it's like you look at a Funko Pops don't look like nobody. I don't give a fuck what Funko Pop it is. It don't really look like that thing, but it look enough like it because it got the essence of it.
I had to reference Daria, was what I was.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think I brought the Funko Pop thing into it. Daria, Funko Pop, the whole thing.
But no, that's a good rep because Funko Pop has an aesthetic that is specifically Funko Pop, and you can plug anything into that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to like look like it. It got to feel like it. So that drawing doesn't necessarily look like you. It feels like you. It feels like the character as represented in the albums and stuff. And that's 100% more important than me jumping on this bitch like Neil Adams trying to do this photorealistic version of you. You know what I'm saying? It's totally different.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that's the shit, man. I took that and ran with it. The what you call it, you know, them sweaters. We got the cross promos. I got that, you know, the mask and all that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that mask is pretty fresh, dude.
And yes, it is available on AnyiMalik.com. Let me pull up. I need to trying to pull up the first one. Oh, here we go. The first Pop Grits. Now this is before the character. This is our inaugural work.
Yeah, that was fun because once again you had the Andy Warhol, a couple of them other ones, type of aesthetic to it. You know what I'm saying? Like this is going to be a pop image, so it's like you're already taking something from pop culture, the image of the grits.
And that's what the album was too. The album was of like pop culture tastemakers and references. This was all of my jokes about the popular culture. And so I wanted to incorporate that pop instead of Campbell's soup is grits though. You know what I'm saying? Because that's my brand fucking with grits. You know, that's just, you know, it is what it is. And so coming to you with that concept as our first project, like out the gates, what was sort of walk me through your perspective of that, how I approached you and all that, how this came to be and what you did to execute this, and then what ultimately was the album cover, which is.
Well, no, when you first came up with the idea, it was funny to me because it was like, you know, I knew your heavy association with grits, and it's always been a part of you. So I was like, all right, he's on this grits motif, and then you was like telling me like, look at the grits box. And it's like, could be so much doper. You know what I'm saying? If it was about you, which was hilarious. It's like, oh, this is how the grits box gonna be doper. It's about, oh yeah, okay. So like, and I was looking at it, and I was looking at the layout of all the shit on the box, and I think we started freestyling the different stuff that could be on it. Like, you know, instead of 100% no high fructose corn syrup or something, it'd be 100% sucker free. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. To where it's like, if you look at the box, it's got so many in jokes on the box. Mm-hmm. And then when you see the four of them put together in that pop space, it's like a joke within a joke within a joke. You know what I'm saying? It becomes like this MC Escher Basquiat situation. So like that was, I mean, honestly, I hate people who's like the first this is the best, the first that is the best. But it showed me like the potential for like what kind of illustrations and shit we could do together. Because you will always have this weird ass shit, and I'd be like, all right, we might not be able to do all this extracurricular shit, but the idea of it is this, I think, and be able to go, oh, okay, yeah, that's what I was getting at, and then boom, be able to do it. And like I said, back in the days when people wasn't really hiring me for my art, it was like, because you know, I've always been, you be a comic, and then they don't want to hire you for your art, then the world ends, and you can't be a comic like you want to, so then. People's like, oh yeah, that's a comic. No, I'm an artist right now too. Give me this Skrilla. You know what I mean? It's like it's hard to communicate what you are at different times because we all got to be everything out here. We all Swiss Army knife.
Man, yeah, man. I'm out here with the lighting, trying to make sure that shit's right. I'm like low key DP and bullshit, right. Just to make sure my self tape is looking like something. I got to get into some editing techniques and all this extra curricular bullshit that diverts the focus.
Nigga, you know the illest shit I saw? Somebody was talking about doing somebody already did them, doing virtual photo shoots. So it's like you in your room and you set up your camera and this motherfucker tell you where to be and take a picture and that's them doing their job. Nigga, the hustle is real. This shit is amazing, dude. You tell me you can be a photographer when I'm using your camera and using you and your labor, but I'm telling you, and that's why we doing it. That's some amazing shit, dog. People is really hustling, dog.
Oh, wow. I mean, you know, it was already a sucker born every minute, and then when you at home, you're a sucker reborn in the house. Hey, somebody get you like that. Why don't you just take a class? at that point, you might as well take the fucking class.
I don't know though, but like don't
I mean,
speak
but I
that
feel
too loud though, because all these people thinking. What's funny to me is I was talking to some cat and he was like, talk to a cat who owns a weed spot, and he wanted to do a comic book, and he literally was telling me, "Yo, man, what about one of them apps that just you take a picture and it make it into a cartoon?" And I ain't talking about. He wasn't talking about take a picture and it do that little bullshit, fill in some shit, color it up, make it look almost like a drawing. He wasn't talking about that. This nigga was talking about you take a picture and it make it into something that you could animate as a whole animation. People are
like
really devaluating, rather
yeah.
devaluing artists and how much work it takes to do stuff because they think it's an app for every damn thing, and it's not. You still got to be talented, man. You still got to put it in.
Even then, you would want some sort of creative direction over how it gets animated, which you don't have when, like, even how I'm doing shit, you know, like I want to do this comic strip, and you know, I think I overlooked the fact that really medium is really up to the artist to really you have to, you know, that's not nothing you can team up with people to do. Like an animation, you have to team up with people. But like for a comic strip, that's like, bro, that's on you. Nobody could fuck with you on your comic strip except for you. And so you have to choose that kind of medium. And tying it back to the artwork, man, like I think working with you is so dope because the cover art that I'm not able to do because of whatever limitations creatively or expressively that the limitation that I may have, whether in skill or just software and technology and making shit digital.
Mm-hmm.
Getting with you, man, it still ties this comedy shit together and makes it feel like art. You know what I mean? Like I'm thinking of ways where I could like present these photographs, you know, these drawings and the comedy at the same time is like live installations of something that could just be somewhere, you know what I mean, and stand as a testament or a monument to something, you know what I mean? And not to say that that's something that's immediately possible, but it's just like fucking with that possibility. The artwork really ties it in more than just an album cover picture. Like this is, you know, we talk about the shit being a craft and this art all the time, but now it's even an artistic design of the project itself. So the album itself having the album cover, how much of the album the material is conveying. And now on this one, I get to even take it a step further, and even add extra layers of art to tell even more of a story. And now it's like a whole project. And so I wouldn't have been able to even feel like getting a story off if I didn't know I had that kind of wing to sort of float on or underneath, which is your artwork and your talent and ability. So I want to appreciate and send a shout out to you on this side fire. You know, he was like, "Where is he going with this?" It's flowers, man. Give props, man.
No, you know what? But no, on some real shit though. Again, I appreciate it because I've done album covers for people before. I do enjoy doing album covers, but I think it's interesting when people really understand that, like, if you're trying to do a comedy album cover, you might as well fuck with a comedian who understands what the fuck you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, so many people can draw, but if they don't understand that this is your fucking testament. This is what you spent, like you said. You was bouncing from here to there, doing this, that, hooked up with this, doing this, that. All these adventures is happening, and this is the diary of what happened in a certain way. So it ain't just about come up with a fresh drawing. Draw me looking cool. That's not it. That's not it. It's got to be a whole nother level of like, the fuck are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to look like? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you trying to represent to the world? You know what I'm saying? So, because when people have a nice idea of how they want to be represented to the world, then you find yourself drawing the shit out the shit. You be like, boop, 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 boop. But when they're up here talking about, yeah, man, I'm gonna be riding an elephant, but I'm smacking a hoe out of a tree. I have, you know, it's like, man, all these extraneous things don't go together.
But I don't know, man. I feel like I could tie that together. I saw it. I think I was like, yes, continue more.
Are you standing up? Are you standing on the elephant's back? Are you seated?
You on the neck? You on the nigga? Where on the elephant?
Like maybe
in the tree?
elephant.
Is the hole in the tree, or where's the tree?
The trunk is lifting you up, like how they be lifting up them acrobats and shit. The trunk is lifting you up. You trying to regal it up, talking to it, and it's a smack to come out of nowhere. All I'm saying is, it's like everything isn't a story. You got me in story mode on these covers, but a lot of times people are just like, yeah, do me like this, do me like that, and that's why I have to come up with more of the story of it to make it interesting to me. But with you, I don't really have to do that. We collaborate on the story of what it is, and then I'm able to execute it. But I don't have to strictly come up with what it is, and that's really invaluable.
Okay, so I got some. Speaking of story, that reminds me of something, but I'll put a pin in that because I got this right now. This grits box that you did, the first work. That was before the album cover. It was this.
Yeah.
And from that, you made the album cover, and
Yep.
I don't use that. I don't use this box of grits except for just like underground images. I put it on a shirt, but I don't even sell that shirt. I printed one of them and I wear it. Every once in a while, I'll put that grits box on some shit and make an announcement with that grits box. But essentially, I don't use it, and it's definitely not on any albums. But we've been linking up for a minute, and I wanted to share some of the other artwork that you've hooked up for me that I haven't been able really, or just for like flyers. You know what I mean? That hasn't gone beyond flyers really. And if I can locate it.
Well, I'll vamp while you do that. The flyer stuff is interesting because, like you said, sometimes, man, XYZ happened. You know what I'm saying? And it's like this lost artifact. It's like, if this belongs in a museum, you know what I'm saying? You have some Indiana Jones shit. Like that one. That Mount Rushmore joint was the shit. That was good. Motherfucking Christine Little, you could tell that it's her and shit. Motherfucking Aaron. That shit is good. And I forgot homeboy that's laying there with the fucking chisel and shit.
Leonard Smith Jr.
Yeah. He wanted to be dressed in some North Carolina gear or some shit. So he got me up here looking at North Carolina jerseys and shit. And trying to find the ones that look good on big dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like all this research I'm doing. And then, you know what I'm saying? But like the bottom line is it was his own edification.
And they canceled that show. Bitch ass niggas. That show didn't even happen. But that was some good artwork though, man. I appreciate this Wizard. This show did happen. And
yeah.
That brother in the corner that was the Wizard of Oz, shouts out to him. I was really him though. I was the wizard. Even coordinating with you and getting the flyer done. I think that was an out here. But that was my first endeavor. And you know, that was my first endeavor as a sketch show director and producer.
Yeah, I remember when you got in this sketch. That was a wild time.
That was a trip. I mean, well, like when do you? Because I got in really through historical roast was my real introduction to sketch comedy and fucking with historical roast. I think it was the historical roast of Anthony Hamilton where I was Aaron Burr. But I had been doing those shows beforehand. But when they had that one at the Nerd Melt, that was the first one where I did it in character. I think before we was just doing it as comedians roasting the historical person and whoever else might be historically adjacent to them people. And so that was the first one. I was all in the little colonial fit and shit, really dripping though. And it was really a lot of fun. And I think it was through I.O. West actually and Will Gellin, who I had in there. He's the Wizard of Oz in this picture. He was directing the sketch show at I.O. West, the diversity show. They had these things to make it seem like they got these things cracking, but they just, they set it up. They set it up, and he was running it, and he's the homie, and he was running it, and he was looking for stand-up comedians. And he wanted a stand-up comedian to do a set. He wanted me to do a set and then do a sketch. And I was like, yeah, I'm down to do that. And it was fun. And he was inviting me back to do it all the time. And I'm like, yo, how about I just do the sketches all the time and maybe do a set every once in a while and then put other comedians on and they do the same thing. And he like, well, shit, why don't you help me produce this thing and direct this thing? And I'm like, oh, okay. And then, you know, I linked up with him and he sort of kind of faded out of the spot because they, you know, and he kind of expressed to me how they had him in there on a cosmetic kind of, you know, situation.
It's a cosmetic call, baby.
And me not knowing nothing about sketch, I just fizzed all into that. You know what I mean? And that was how I learned about sketch show production, the whole shit. You know what I mean? And for learning, I couldn't have learned it no other way, really. I couldn't have cashed out on these niggas groundlings or whoever, you know, to even wait to even be in the position to say, okay, nigga, here's the script, here's the show script, here's the lights, here's all this, here's all, you know, here's the image for the tickets, nigga. Like, you know, not even just the direction of your sketch shows part. You know what I'm saying? The whole night, nigga, you're branded like this. Which I already kind of had the show production knowledge from the stand-up comedy show. You know, you get the night, you get the time slot, 2-hour time slot, you book 90 minutes of comedians, you know what I mean? And then you get it, you know, you run it up. And then, but, you know, so I have that experience, but to merge that with the sketch was a lot of trial and fire. And, you know, again, shouts out, man, I didn't have to worry about artwork and imagery.
Well, dude, do you got that one with the motherfucking?
I'm saving it. I'm still doing this one. I'm still doing that. Let me get to this one. Let me get to. I gotta save it. Because I know that's the piece du resistance of the undercover work.
Joint. All right, go back to the Wizard of Oz thing. The thing I remember about that one was putting homeboy in the cloud. It felt like this my Uncle Charles, y'all. Like, shit. I put this nigga in the cloud.
And I missed him too because he was not there.
You gotta miss everybody.
And he missed the show.
Wow.
So you didn't even really know how deep it was with the apropos. But like I told you, but I think this was when it was at the Ruby at this point. And so even then, how I felt at the Ruby, I had already felt the same way. How they would never. And the Ruby is a theater that is, you know, they were like progressive leaning, but they was really, they had black folks right where they wanted them conveniently when it came, you know, with communications, at least with me. It was, you know, it was like for a minute, they would fuck me. This was the first show I did with them. And then I would go on to do a couple more shows with them, but I didn't get the sense that they wanted me back. And until it was time to have me back, and they're like, can you do a show like this? And it's like, okay, nigga, you need me? It's like, what's up? You need me or you need some diversity? Like, what's really good? Like, what do you even need? Like, what's really popping?
That's these venues, though. They be trying to act like they hella big time.
But even on that tip, though, not to, like, be stank on them like that for too much, because they even taught me to hype myself on even be in a position to be somebody else's go-to for that. So I even had to big my, you know, not to down them up, but just to really big myself up again in that, like, you know, but it was through that I was like, oh, damn, like, is this shit even valuable? Is this shit even hidden? Like, they're not even going to return. I'm trying to get another date. They don't even talk to me. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to go do Anyi shit.
Right.
And then out the blue, they're like, ooh, can you do a 420 show? And it's like, what the fuck? Oh,
well,
I guess they do.
But that's the wild thing about LA, though. They be having the motherfucker feel great to be taken for granted. Like, oh, man, it feels great. These people taking me for granted, dog. This feels great. Oh,
the nigga.
That's how they have us out here. Well, that's how they used to back in the world.
Let's not do that one. That's a whole nother fireside chat, brother.
That's how they used to have it back in the world.
All right, I'm gonna show. Wait, before the piece de resistance of our hidden works. This was one of my favorite. This was one of my favorite. Was the Enter the Dragon, because I'm a huge fan of Barry Gordy's Enter the Dragon. You have to say Barry Gordy's
Yeah.
Enter the Dragon.
Yeah. Barry Gordy's Last Dragon.
Not Enter the Dragon, Last
Yeah.
Dragon. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I've been smoking weed. You know what I'm saying? But when I say Barry Gordy's Enter the Dragon, you know I'm talking about Leroy, Bruce Leroy, man. But this was my favorite for a dance party. That was I just love that movie. And all right, man, you not hype, man. You want to see the one. You want to see.
No. Go back. All I was thinking about was this another one of them lost ass shows that didn't happen?
No. Well, the show happened. It just wasn't cracking. It just wasn't lit.
I got you.
It just wasn't lit, and we didn't really have the patience or the people didn't have the patience to let it build into something. A lot of people want shit out the gates, but we just, and I've been a victim of having flyers doper than the show, or not a victim. I've been guilty of having flyers doper than the show. And it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
That one was dope to me because it was number one. I was at that time. That's now years ago. So I was really thinking about how I was going to represent the glow for real. How I was going to represent that y'all all kind of had the glow. Nobody was evil. I didn't want to give y'all different fucking glows. All this different bullshit. Trying to navigate the political waters of who the fuck's Bruce Leroy, who's Sho'nuff, because depending on your point of view, Sho'nuff is that nigga in the competition.
Right.
So it was very interesting to me that you were nice enough to give center position to your boy, but you still got to be Bruce Leroy. So it's all good. It balanced out. And I forgot the young lady, but like me doing
Bree Geiger.
Yeah, a little research on her and trying to pick out the vanity outfit. The vanity outfit was my favorite part of that. The Game of Death tracksuit is fresh. Sho'nuff suit is dope. And the stance for y'all was very good. The fingers on you, I got to say, that's some of the best fingers that I ever drew ever. Because it's stay in perspective and shit, it's a lot of shit happening. But Homegirl looks dope as fuck because she looks like Vanity from the movie. When she got all martial arts the fuck out, that's how she looks in the movie. And it's like...
I got like a big Chun-Li. I got a Chun-Li vibe.
Yeah.
It's she can get into some karate.
Dude, it's Chun-Li meets Vanity.
Yeah, and
nobody can.
And I know Bree Geiger, and she would fight a motherfucker. So that's tight. It was a dope. So yeah, so that's why it's one of my favorites. And then
throw me some moves.
But this is definitely always heartwarming. I have this on my website. This I use this for my shop. I use this for my online shop for the link that leads to the online shop. I use this one. This was another show at the Ruby. This was an out here show. This is all comedians and yeah, man.
Well, dude, that one right there is I forgot what's that? Elise Golgowski is the girl over to my right. Things left. I remember her and your boy Aaron Ram Powell. Who's homegirl right there that I made into the original Karen? Suna
Bilston.
Yeah. And then you back there with the damn cornbread.
Yeah.
Drawing cornbread is hard as fuck. You gotta really analyze how the shit stack up on top of itself and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I took some intense reference of cornbread. You know what I'm saying? That was a good idea as well. Like you was on the forefront of the Karens. Like that was years ago now. It seemed like.
Oh yeah, we had jokes for that. Yeah, we had one of the sketches. We had I didn't even actually write that sketch. Elise wrote the sketch that kind of played on it, but we took it where black characters performed it, and then we flipped it, and then shouts out to Elise Golgowski, Suna, Aaron. That was a lit ass show too. With Cornbread Kitchen. That's why the cornbread was incorporated into the artwork. Shouts out Nick Alexander, Megan Souza. Yeah, the whole Cornbread Kitchen. So that was man. That was I think probably not the first time. I mean, that was probably the most news inspired. That was the most like inspired by the times art. Like everything else was derivative off of something else, like the you know, the Last Dragon, the Wizard of Oz, the Mount Rushmore, you know. But that was, you know, pulling from the news for an image for a flyer real quick was what, and then also having a sketch for that kind of scenario was kind of a definitely a litty ass triumphant man type of situation. And this artwork, you know what I'm saying? And even incorporating Aaron into it too, to making him that other dude who's
Right.
just the snitch dude on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? To where it's like not even now, it's not even racial, but we can clown on that. But now it's like everybody's just hating on this motherfucker selling this cornbread, and now this is just for the haters. You know what I'm saying? And so then now it's like deep imagery, and then it's like it's on AnyiMalik.com. It's like the lead in to my online shop where I sell some merch, like the masks in conjunction with West Clothing. But yeah, man, that was probably the dopest moment to capture in a bottle.
I mean, it really was when you look at all the. I mean, obviously this stuff don't change. We're not acting like brand new, like nothing. You know what I'm saying? But it's just really interesting how always on the cusp you can be if you talk about real stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And that, you know, and that medium and that scene, it was not really it wasn't really prevalent. And so it was easy to make that kind of impact in those places because they did not have that. They like on the bubblegum bullshit. And I'm like, how you bubblegummed out and you in your 30s? You know, what's really good, you know?
Look, entertainment is a fantasy world where we go to get away from reality.
Okay, but let's incorporate some reality to even make it that much more entertaining, and then maybe even to change reality.
You think? You think?
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's worked before. It might continue to keep working. I don't know.
Nah, I definitely agree, Pimp.
Well, I want to thank you, man. Let me know what you got going on too, man. I was also confused about what announcement I was supposed to even put on the imagery because you got several projects and some of them are in negotiations or renegotiations as well.
Yeah.
So so I want to.
They can check out my back catalog. Everything I do is updated on Greer Destroys on Instagram or Twitter, and they can check out nerdgoatpodcast.com. Check out my old joints. I might be fucking with that in the future, but right now I got Rebooted, which is a YouTube channel with me and three white boys. We talk about how we would reboot a movie, and I get to be in the room as like the only brother in the room. And it's interesting, dude. It's interesting the stuff that motherfuckers don't think about. It's interesting the things that you don't think about where you get mixed up in all the shit. You know what I mean? It's very interesting. People act like, yeah, man, if I was up in there, I'd do this, that, the other. When you really trying to play the role of being one of the people that makes the decisions, you can see how things just start slipping through the cracks. So it's an interesting thought experiment. Rebooted is basically like we are. The kayfabe of the show is we are development executives, and if somebody says John Peters, the guy who he produced 1 billion movies, but he's a real weirdo, and if he came to you and said reboot Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, you and the people off the street, I don't give a fuck, reboot Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I need it in an hour. If somebody said that to you, what would you do? That's what the whole show is. So Rebooted on YouTube
that's lit.
us, you know what I'm saying, trying to see, okay, Nick, what we gonna do?
Hella easy.
You know what I'm saying? What would you concentrate on from all the 25, 30 years of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle history? If they told you to reboot Superman, what you gonna do? You make him softer and nicer? Because they used to do that. Then he didn't punch nobody. Then they made him punch everybody, and people don't like that one either. It's a tricky proposition. So
well, you don't do it because you're trying to. That's the other thing. So how do you think people or how do you think the public relation to creation should be? Because I was listening to somebody was making an argument of like you should do something because people want to see a certain thing. So creating to cater. Creating is catering.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Making something because you think is what people want to see versus what you want to see, what you want to create.
Well, I mean, like I said, on Rebooted and Nerd Goat podcast, I try personally to be what I would like to see. What do they say? Be the change you want to be, all that shit. I just do what I would like to see. And sometimes I'm insistent that we go this direction or that we do this amount of action or we do this, that, and the other. And it's just like, I think people really do like to see some of those decisions being made. We got a show called Reboot Rewind where we just take old rebooted episodes and dissect them. Like, okay, we rebooted this in an hour. And in that hour, we said some outlandish stuff. We made some outlandish decisions. We was under the gun. Let's look at what we did. People like that because they like to see an examination of why people do what they do. They like to see an examination of why certain decisions are made. And like you said, sometimes they're made to cater to somebody. Sometimes they're made because too much catering has been done. The motherfucking kitchen is closed, motherfucker. There's no more catering at this point. You have to have a take. You have to have a take. You have to have something in your mind to contribute to this art form, or rather to this property. You have to say something else that hasn't been said before. Sometimes that's the job. And but sometimes it is for you to just kind of take care of a brand. You can't just make Spider-Man have two guns and shoot. You know what I'm saying? You just can't decide to do that. There's all these steps and there's all this different, you know. So all I'm saying is in Rebooted and Nerd Goat, we do a lot of storytelling. We think about storytelling and we talk about all that kind of stuff. So like both of those are up. I got a Patreon for Nerd Goat podcast. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it's been really, this period has been good for me making content because I ain't out in the streets. I'm in here being a nerd, making my content, and the people are really liking it. We've gained more Patreon subscribers in this time because people are like, what the fuck else I'm gonna do? I'm gonna support you doing your shit, and I'm gonna listen to this dope content. You know what I mean? So like, I'm good. I'm glad to be part of you making content during this same period. You know?
Oh yeah, man. Hell yeah, man. I appreciate you. I'll give you speaking of storytelling, I'll add to the I'll give you a little spoiler alert. Since you listen this long, you know what I'm saying, my guy's back online, or the 698 Malik's XX, they cut him online, and the first words out of his mouth is where the hoes at, and we find out that that's all he can say. That's all he's saying is asking where the hoes at, and in different variations of where the hoes at. And you peep how she asked if she uploaded the bars at noon sequence, and the doctor's assistant uploaded. She loaded the Bars at Noon YouTube show, and didn't upload the Bars at Noon stream track that's available. And so now now they had to deal with that mistake. And so that's what happened now. And he's just, you know what I mean, he's just trying to find the hoes. He's just like in the lab, just where it's at, where they at. If you on my close friends story, you could see that. If you're not, you'll just have to see the first episode. You'll just have to see the first strip, and then I'll release it on my strip sometime before Sunday. Sunday is the release day of this actually strips, and it's Sunday funnies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's Sunday funnies. I will say before the assistant switches to the regular version, to the album version of Bars at Noon, she should check to make sure all that fire doesn't permeate, all that fire. It's a lot of fire. So I hope that assistant makes the precaution, but we'll find out whether or not she'll make those adjustments on Sunday. Until then, I want to thank Ed Greer for joining me on the Side Fire chat. Fuck with his website, his Instagram, Ed Greer Destroys. Is it .com?
Oh yeah.
EdGreerDestroys.com.
Don't go to Ed Greer Destroys right now. It's embarrassing.
Okay.
But yeah, fuck me on all the social media at Ed Greer Destroys.
And then go to the links in his bio.
Yeah,
and
you can go to
at always.
Yeah. You can go to Rebooted on YouTube, or you can go to nerdgoatpodcast.com.
And then also go to AnyiMalik.com to check out the latest Ed Greer album artwork and the 698 Malik's XX saga as it continues to unfold. on my timeline and on that landing page for 698 Malik's XX, which you can navigate from my website. And thank you, Ed Greer, for joining us. This Instagram live thing is going to cut us off in less than 20 seconds, and I'm about over
Well,
Instagram and their bullshit.
Check out this ninja that I was drawing while we was messing around.
Oh, that's lit. See, artistic. Stay creative, man. Stay creative. All right, brother. Appreciate you.
Peace out.
I'm just going to let it